Your hard-earned money demands better returns because your job is always based on time. Time working, not time wasted or endless sourcing of replacement parts for your old equipment. It's your reputation. And now is the time to save yourself the headache, frustration, and the stress on the old broken construction equipment. Now is the time to grow into an affordable and reliable new machine from Construction Equipment Sales Caribbean Limited. CES will give you back your time. Show your customers that you mean business. Visit us at CES Sans Souci St. Lucia or our Honorsville location in St. Vincent. For information, call CES at telephone number 758-286-3220, 758-453-0555 or 784-457-0555. Construction Equipment Sales Caribbean Limited, the affordable alternative.
Conflict Resolution 101. Conflict is a natural part of life. Managing conflict in a healthy way helps strengthen our relationship with people we care about. Here are 5 quick tips for resolving conflict. Number 1. Focus on the problem at hand. Focus on the issues being discussed. Bringing up old mistakes can get in the way of finding a solution. Number 2. Recognize and control your own feelings. During an argument, take a moment to collect your thoughts and feelings, then respond in a calm and respectful manner. Number 3, be willing to forgive. Throughout life, we have all made mistakes. Be open to apologizing and forgiving. The end goal is to strengthen the relationship. Number 4, don't just listen, but hear. Keep an open mind when another person is telling you their side of the story. Actively listen to understand their point of view. Number 5, negotiate and compromise. People's ideas or perspectives may be different from yours. Try to take others' thoughts into consideration and work towards a compromise. Thank you.
Titus is a true Canarian, a great representation of our community. He's diligent, kind, and hilarious, always making a plan and executing one too.
Pedals Paradise is something that I've been doing for 3 to 4 years. It's been a dream, and finally seeing it there gets me emotional.
Today, Camrys has taken an important step forward. This community has added another reason for the world to visit our island, another reason for visitors to extend their stay and another reason for St. Lucians to take pride in what can be achieved through community tourism.
This initiative is something a lot deeper for our community. It signals a shift from dependence to ownership, from observation to participation. It tells the young people of Anse Ray Canneries, and in particular Canneries, as we heard this morning, that opportunities don't just exist in Grosley, in Rodney Bay, and indeed overseas, but it can be built right here, from the ground up, with vision and determination.
We take a tour around the village. We start here, we go around the village, stop by the old church, go to the jetty, where you get like photo op, learn about the jetty and its little history. We go around the village again, we go up to the shanty area, to the shanty, and then to the shanty where you will have a view almost like Italy. After that, we're down and head all the way up the river, halfway to the waterfall. Afterwards, we head down to Tony's place. There's a pineapple farm, and you might see some cows along the way.
$38 million tons of seaweed in the Atlantic in a single month. The University of South Florida measured that number in July 2025, a mass so large it was visible from the International Space Station, a brown belt stretching from the West African coast all the way to the Gulf of Mexico, over 8,000 kilometers wide. For 15 years, this has been the Caribbean's most expensive, most humiliating, and most unstoppable problem. Beaches disappeared under masses of algae overnight. Governments deployed military equipment. Resorts spent millions to remove it. And every single morning, more came back. But what engineers figured out to do with it, instead of fighting it, is one of the most unexpected industrial transformations happening anywhere on the planet right now. Let us first understand why the sargassum spread is impossible to stop. Unlike almost every other algae on Earth, sargassum never anchors itself to the sea floor. It spends its entire life drifting on the ocean surface and reproduces by simply breaking apart. Every fragment becomes a new plant. There is no root to cut, no source to eliminate. Destroy one patch and you've created 10 more. For centuries, this wasn't a problem. Sargassum lived locked inside the Sargasso Sea, a massive, currentless gyre in the North Atlantic that works like a slow whirlpool with no exit. It stayed there, contained, for as long as anyone had records. But then two things changed, and within a single decade, the Caribbean paid the price. Ocean temperatures in the equatorial Atlantic began rising, and Amazon deforestation accelerated, releasing nitrogen-rich sediment into the open ocean, a perfect fertilizer. The algae consumed it, multiplied beyond any prediction, and escaped the gyre. It made its first appearance on Caribbean shores in 2010. It has returned every year since, each time larger than before. Other algae can be collected and used as fertilizer, a recycling loop that would at least make the cleanup economically viable. Sargassum cannot, because this plant has a biological quirk that makes it uniquely dangerous. It actively absorbs heavy metals from seawater. Its phosphate transporter mistakes arsenic for phosphorus and pulls the poison in like a nutrient. Raw sargassum from the Atlantic Belt carries up to 90 milligrams of arsenic per kilogram. The EU's safety limit for animal feed is 2. Spread it on farmland and you poison the soil. And while scientists were still processing that, the scale kept growing. When sargassum rots on a beach, it releases hydrogen sulfide, a gas that smells like rotten eggs mixed with sewage and becomes toxic at high concentrations. In Cancun, the smell reached more than a kilometer inland. Hotels evacuated guests. Schools sent children home. Residents sealed their windows and stayed inside. Rotting sargassum also releases methane, a gas that, over a 20-year period, is 80 times more damaging to the climate than CO2. Cancun spends $37 million every year dumping sargassum into landfills, where it keeps rotting, keeps releasing methane, and keeps making the problem worse. For fishermen, everything changed. Boats sit in harbor, week after week, the sargassum too thick to push through. Fishing grounds that families relied on for generations, gone. No insurance, no compensation. And in 2022, the U.S. Virgin Islands declared a national emergency because sargassum had blocked the intake of a seawater desalination plant. No seaweed removal meant no drinking water. Now let us talk about the costs of this crisis. The Caribbean has always sold one thing: paradise. White beaches, turquoise water, 7 million tourists flying into Cancun alone every single year. In some island nations, 80% of the entire economy runs on that image. And sargassum is destroying it, season by season, beach by beach, because those white beaches now look like this, and cleaning just 1 kilometer costs up to $70,000 per month. For small island nations with no financial reserves, that number is simply impossible. One luxury resort in Cancun employs 40 people, 12 hours a day, all year long, just to keep a single stretch of beach clear. Governments threw everything they had at it, and the numbers kept moving in exactly the wrong direction. By 2018, the bloom had grown so large it became visible from the International Space Station for the first time, a brown continent drifting between Africa and the Americas, stretching over 8,000 kilometers. Reports published in March 2026 describe the mass that is currently moving toward Florida and the Caribbean as the largest marine bioinvasion in recorded history.
Your hard-earned money demands better returns because your job is always based on time. Time working, not time wasted or endless sourcing of replacement parts for your old equipment. It's your reputation. And now is the time to save yourself the headache, frustration, and the stress on the old broken construction equipment. Now is the time to grow into an affordable and reliable new machine from Construction Equipment Sales Caribbean Limited. CES will give you back your time. Show your customers that you mean business. Visit us at CES Sans Souci St. Lucia or our Honorsville location in St. Vincent. For information, call CES at telephone number 758-286-3220, 758-453-0555 or 784-457-0555. Construction Equipment Sales Caribbean Limited, the affordable alternative.
At the Trinidad and Tobago leg of the St. Lucia Tourism Authority's Marketing Roadshow, the message was simple: turn interest into bookings. Tourism officials told travel advisors that St. Lucia is no longer marketed as a single-type destination, but one offering nature, culture, romance, wellness, family travel, events, and luxury experiences. Chairman of the Tourism Authority Marketing Committee, Thomas Leons, said the island's greatest assets are its landscape and its people.
St. Lucia is more than a destination. It's where we live. It's our home. But it is also an experience that captures the heart, awakens the senses, and leaves every visitor with memories that we expect will last a lifetime.
The authority also highlighted daily flights between Trinidad and St. Lucia, online immigration processing, and several transport options around the island. Travel advisors were encouraged to match that accessibility with stronger product knowledge and more complete holiday packages.
Daily. In our language, we say tous les jours, which means every day. Daily flights from Trinidad to St. Lucia. We left at 11 something. I had a drink. I couldn't remember exactly what the something was. And we arrived, it was just about 12:30.
Officials also showcase an expanding range of tourism products, including luxury villas, upgraded hotels, wellness resorts, golf, festivals, food experiences, beaches, waterfalls, and adventure tours. Local agents were encouraged to experience the destination themselves and use official training tools to better market the island.
So our global campaign for this year is What Kind of Summer Are You? And it's really all about showcasing St. Lucia is not a one-size-fits-all destination. So again, whether you crave romance, adrenaline, serenity, or pure celebration, it shapes itself to your desires.
The authority also pointed to its partnership with Arsenal Football Club as a major boost to St. Lucia's global profile. For the Trinidad and Tobago market, however, the immediate goal is to strengthen ties with local travel advisors and encourage more visitors to see St. Lucia as a nearby, accessible, and diverse Caribbean destination. Carrie Roberts.
Martinique has officially joined the Caribbean community as its 7th associate member, marking a historic step towards deeper regional integration. The membership formally took effect on June 16, 2026. The milestone follows an associate membership agreement signed in February 2025. The process was finalized in June 2026 when the government of the French Republic submitted the official instrument of accession, bringing the agreement on CARICOM's privileges and immunities into full force. Martinique is set to make its official debut this week at the 51st regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government. The high-level summit is being hosted in St. Lucia from July 5th to 8, 2026, where regional leaders will formally welcome the French territory into the CARICOM family. As an associate member, Martinique will be able to attend heads of government meetings and participate in deliberations of CARICOM's various ministerial councils, strengthening political, cultural, and economic ties between the island and the rest of the Anglophone majority Caribbean bloc.
Dax Rodney Bay presents a location for your special activity. Because your event deserves to be a memorable experience. The perfect destination for your next function. Easy and convenient parking in Rodney Bay with the support that you require to host your event. From conferences and meetings to birthday celebrations and special events, we work with your needs. We make every moment special and memorable. Offering air-conditioned indoor seating and expandable outdoor ambience. Dax Restaurant Rodney Bay. Call today to book your next event. Telephone number 758-572-2942.
The climate is changing, and you?
Here on Union Island, our only source of drinking water is from the rainfall. The increase in periods of heat and drought puts the safety and welfare of our community and wildlife at risk. Here we have a key biodiversity area, the Chatham Bay Forest Reserve, that stabilizes the soil, prevents erosion, and attracts rain to our island. This rain we harvest to sustain ourselves. Water is life. The Union Island gecko is found nowhere else in the world. Protecting our forests means protecting its habitat, the attraction of rain, and promoting biodiversity. By doing this, our community continues to adapt to the effects of climate change. Ready together.
You too, take action.
The European Commission wants to eliminate citizenship by investment in the Caribbean. 5 countries just got the same letter from Brussels. Shut down your CBI program by 2028 or lose visa-free access to Europe. IMI has read that letter and tracked every response. In this video, you'll learn what comes next and whether this threat even matters. On June 25th, the European Commission sent Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister a formal letter. It asked the country to phase out its citizenship by investment program by June 1st, 2028. The letter was signed by the EU's Commissioner for Internal Affairs and Migration, but the face behind the policy is the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen. Brussels is offering a 24-month transition window to wind the program down. A deadline like this only has teeth if the EU has the leverage to enforce it, and that it does. The legal basis is new, though. The EU's revised visa suspension mechanism entered into force in December 2025. Under that framework, simply operating a CBI program, regardless of how well it is managed, now counts as a self-standing ground for suspending a country's visa-free access to the Schengen area. Let's repeat. The EU no longer has to prove that a program is poorly run or that it let a criminal slip through. The program existing at all is enough. The Commission staked out that exact position in its 8th Visa Suspension Mechanism report in December 2025, and the reform that made it possible was adopted just a month earlier in November. Adding citizenship by investment to the list of reasons the EU can retract a visa waiver. That legal change is why 5 Caribbean governments, not one, are now facing the same choice. This was never aimed at Antigua and Barbuda alone. Dominica, Grenada, St. Kitts and Nevis, and St. Lucia have all received similar correspondence from the Commission. At the time, Antigua's Prime Minister, Gaston Brown, went public with its letter. None of the other 4 governments had confirmed receiving theirs. Interestingly, though, one country was left off the list. St. Vincent and the Grenadines is planning to launch its own citizenship by investment program in 2026. Yet Brussels said nothing to its government leaders. The Commission's framing covers active programs only, so a program that hasn't opened its doors yet is not in the EU's crosshairs for now. By the way, inside IMI Sovereigns, our private community for investors pursuing and managing global portfolios, we track developments like this the moment they break, and our editorial team runs frequent Sovereign Signals live sessions with an ear to the ground in over 100 jurisdictions. If you want to hear where this is heading before it's public news, that's where the conversation happens. Link and discount are in the description. Now, the year 2028 is getting all the attention here, but there's a deadline that arrives much sooner. The letter asks for interim measures in place no later than September 2026. 2 things specifically: full exclusion of anyone subject to EU restrictive measures, and 2, reinforced vetting for applicants of every nationality. Antigua's response then feeds directly into the EU's next Visa Suspension Mechanism report, due December 2026. But the Prime Minister believes the country could lose visa-free access to Europe before the end of 2026, well ahead of that 2028 phase-out date. So with Brussels holding this much leverage, why is the Prime Minister refusing to fold? Because the program is pivotal to the country's development plans. The government calls it CIP a critical pillar of its non-tax revenue base, money that over the years has funded hospitals, schools, infrastructure, and disaster recovery. Antigua and Barbuda has stated that it will not be pressured into a unilateral phase-out that could cause irreparable harm to the national economy and the welfare of its citizens. Now, notice that the government is not rejecting dialogue with Europe. Rather, it is rejecting the idea of walking away from a core revenue stream with nothing credible lined up to replace it. The EU hasn't come empty-handed, at least on paper. It has pointed to its Global Gateway investment agenda as a way to support the country's sustainable development. The problem, from Antigua's side of the table, is that none of these offers are quantified, binding, or explicitly framed as replacement revenues for what the CIP brings in. So for the Caribbean island government, any agreed path forward has to include tangible EU assistance in generating equivalent replacement revenues to offset the economy hit of any transition. As a gesture of good faith, Prime Minister Brown says it will continue excluding EU-sanctioned individuals, reinforce vetting for all other nationalities, and add whatever additional safeguards the EU's security standards require. It's pursuing diplomacy on two tracks at once, bilaterally with Brussels and collectively through the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States. Even so, Europe is not the only government leaning on these citizenship by investment programs. Caribbean citizenship by investment is under pressure from more than one direction, and it has been for years. Canada withdrew visa-free entry for Antiguans in 2017 over CBI-linked concerns. A United States proclamation then restricted several visa categories starting in 2026, before a partial settlement preserved access for citizens who already held previously issued U.S. visas. Now layer in Europe's 2028 deadline on top of that. A critical feature that made a Caribbean passport valuable for many investors, broad visa-free travel, is what three of the world's most powerful jurisdictions are chipping away at. But now, instead of just threats, they have a deadline and constraints. So if the EU is moving to close the door on Caribbean citizenship, the obvious question is what's left? Where in Europe can you still secure residency the Commission can't touch? We covered, in one of our most watched videos, the 8 European golden visas the EU cannot kill. It's the clearest look at what's still standing in Europe and why those programs are built to survive similar pressures that are now on the Caribbean programs.
It's important for CARPHA as a health agency to be here because the health of the Caribbean is very closely interlinked with the wealth of the Caribbean, and even more so with tourism because we have more visitors that come to the region than actually live here. So if you want to really have healthy and safe Caribbean, you really have to have healthy and safe tourism, and this is where CARPHA comes in. Our first cases of many illness are imported, so we have to be able to put measures in place to nip visitor illness to make sure they are getting a healthier and safer experience. And this is what is going to set apart the Caribbean from other destinations. In addition to the sun, sand, and sea, you have a healthier, safer destination. We have novel confidential systems of early warning. What does that mean? It tells you something is happening before it gets to large numbers, so you nip it in the bud. And we support that through lots of training. We have trained tens of thousands of persons into prevention, infectious disease. We have healthier, safer environmental standards, and we offer a Healthier, Safer award that's recognized globally. So health and tourism have to work together, and together with the finance sector and others, and the environmental sector, because they are all interconnected. Healthy tourism requires, finances to go there. It requires the health sector, it requires the environmental sector, because our lovely beaches and ecotourism and all that also depends on the environment. So what we are trying to do, and I know CTO and CHD is trying to do the same thing, is to get people together and to come up with joint measures. And the measures shouldn't just be a tourism measure. It should be a cross-sectional or multi-sectoral measure that really helps the region.
Recent shifts in global travel patterns influenced by fluctuating fuel prices and geopolitical instability in several regions have affected airline routing and travel demand worldwide, including for Belize. So we do see that. But the United States continues to be the principal driver of overnight tourism growth for Belize, with American visitor arrivals increasing by 6.5% between April 2025 or for April 2026 compared to 2025. Emerging and expanding markets are also showing positive results, with Canadian arrivals growing by 3.1% during the same period. So Canada is very important for us. Our European markets have remained relatively stable, and we are currently working on direct air connectivity from Europe, which we currently don't yet have. So that's one of our priorities in terms of air connectivity. The cruise tourism sector has likewise maintained positive momentum. Passenger arrivals through our Fort Street Tourism Village and Harvest Key, we have 2 cruise ports, increased by 1% during the first 4 months of 2026. One of the biggest investments will be going into our new cruise port in the coming years. So we should see an even bigger growth for cruise tourism in the years ahead. Cruise passenger disembarkation rates as well have remained stable, averaging approximately 80%, and that continues to show that sustained visitor engagement and shore excursion participation is doing very well for Belize.
June in Barbados, we outside. The summer energy is building, the calendars are filling up, and whether you're into culture, food, adventure, or a good fet, this is the time of year when Barbados comes alive. I'm Muffin Stallmeyer with Barbados Sotheby's International Realty, and this is our Bajan bucket list. This month, we're starting right here at Earthworks Pottery, one of Barbados' most iconic creative spaces. It's the perfect reminder that some of the island's most memorable experiences are rooted in our culture, craftsmanship, and creativity. But once June arrives, Bajans know exactly what time it is. We outside. From early morning breakfast parties and cooler fetes and late night events, there's no shortage of opportunities to gather with friends and enjoy the best of summer on the island. And as crop over season starts to build momentum, June brings the first taste of the cultural excitement to come. Junior Monarch events are already underway, showcasing the next generation of Barbadian talent and giving us a glimpse of the season ahead. And the Calypso tents are filling up. Looking for something a little more active? June is also the perfect time to explore Barbados beyond the beach. Go hiking, discover a hidden cave, take a catamaran cruise, or spend the day enjoying the incredible coastline that makes the island so special. Now tell us what's on your bucket list this month, because one thing's for sure, Barbados is outside.